Okay, so this is my second film review thingy. So I watched Milk, which came out in 2009 and follows the life of Harvey Milk, the who was the first openly gay member of the US government. He was on the Board of Supervisors in San Francisco. And obviously he had a very liberal platform, which he used very much in his time there. And it pretty much follows him from when he really establishes himself in San Francisco. He actually opens a camera store, film development place in Castro, which is a part of San Francisco. And it takes place in period 8. So and the timeline itself is the 1973 to obviously about 1979 when he's killed. So I thought the movie was very accurate. It actually has more of a documentary style. Well, not documentary, but it's he's talking and he's taping a tape to explain his entire life, just in case he is killed, because there were many threats on his life before obviously he was actually assassinated. And so I liked the way that it was filmed because it was sort of documentary style. And one of the things that adds to that and also adds to the accuracy was there was a lot of actual footage of protesters in San Francisco, Milk himself. So I thought that was really cool. Well, I learned a lot about the inner workings of his campaign. And I didn't know that he had campaigned 3 times before he even got elected. I just knew about the first time the time that he won. So I thought that was really interesting to see the perseverance that he really had as a politician and obviously as a minority, sort of fighting for gay rights in not just California, but in the US as a whole. One thing I thought was really cool was they included a lot of stuff about Anita Bryant, who was the the former juice saleswoman who really campaigned against gay laws that were being passed that would allow for anti-discrimination laws against teachers and against people looking for housing. And obviously she actually overturned a couple of laws, and that and in the film that really served as sort of the catalyst to him uniting the San Francisco queer groups into one group that really pushed him into the position he was at. So obviously the film actually does go over the murder of Harvey Milk and George Moscone, who was the mayor of San Francisco, who was a black man. They, obviously were both very much profiled as minorities that were going to, change the government in a bad way to what many conservatives would have thought. And he was killed by Dan White, who was, I knew he was a former police officer. I forgot that he was actually on the same board that Harvey was. And in the film it depicts that, of him actually using a lot of his police credentials to get into the areas that Harvey was in and assassinate him. And so, yeah, I thought it was really interesting. There was a lot of, I feel like in the late 70s, a lot of different different people in California running for government positions, Jello Biafra, who obviously wasn't seriously trying to be mayor, but was just trying to take votes away from Dianne Feinstein. And the film goes into that too a lot, about how certain politicians who may be supportive but not actually push all the way for the rights of gay people and other minorities, how those people weren't enough. like, there's a part where Harvey meets with the owner of a very prominent gay magazine, who's a very wealthy man, and he basically tells him, like, you're doing the community a disservice by making us look so crazy, or like making us look so forceful. And I thought that was really interesting, and sort of changed my viewpoint on how, there were people, obviously, there were gay people that were very in favor of Harvey, but there was also a big pushback on him being in government, because they didn't want him to be, they didn't want to look too forceful, which I thought was very interesting. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a very good film. So yeah, go Dragons.